Gandhasya Kyananjana Shalakaya Chakshunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamainam Tadhati Shivadankam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavascha Sri Rupam Shagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Stam Sajivam Shadvaitam Savadhutam Purishanastahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Sri Vishakantanaṁ He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Namoste Tata Kanchana Gaurani Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishwanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sattvat samjayate jnanam, vajaso lobha eva cha. Pramada moho tamaso sadato jnanam. I'm not going to project my voice very strongly today. Again, those who are, you don't need the wall for a back problem or something, I would recommend that you move up. Maybe move a little this way so the ladies can have the So, this is actual education to bring one to the higher standard of purification. In the present moment, education is taken as either cramming a person full of facts, generally cramming a person full of facts and preparing him for some employment. But here we can get an idea of actual education. Pramadamo tamaso bhavato jnanamevacha. In the mode of ignorance, people are mad. Pramada means mad, crazy, intoxicated also. And moha, they're in illusion. This we see practically. Those who are in the lower stages are always drinking, always taking something, drugs or alcohol. And they become crazy people. Irresponsible. Actually all of these things. Intoxication, gambling, meat eating, illicit sex. The Meat eating, Prabhupada mentions here as a symbol of deep ignorance. A person is thinking, I'm enjoying, and he doesn't realize how he's becoming entangled in the reaction for severe, unauthorized violence. How he's inflicting suffering on other living entities as a conspirator. In that conspiracy, the person who raises the animal, the person who sells the animal, the person who brings the animal to market, the person who kills the animal, the person who cooks the animal, the person who eats the animal. They're all involved in a conspiracy, just as there are murder conspiracies. The person who drove the car, the person who fired the gun. So, this is a conspiracy. And those who are involved have to suffer severely in their next lives. But they're clueless. They have no idea that by selling these things, or by serving these things, or by eating these things, or cooking these things, they're becoming implicated in darkness. Meat eating, gambling is another symbol of ignorance. It's known. These state lotteries and so on, which are supposedly run for the benefit of the poorer class of people so that welfare work can be extended to them, victimize the poor. Because the poor are foolish, and they're the ones who think, yes, if I invest $2, I might win 20 million. And they can't calculate the odds and realize that they're simply wasting their money and dreaming. They're simply wasting their money and dreaming. So the gambling, which is sponsored by ignorant state leaders or greedy state leaders, you have your choice. Either they're ignorant, they don't know what they're doing, or they're greedy, they're in on it and getting a cut one way or another. Gambling, intoxications, totally madness. Meat eating. And illicit sex, again, of course it's a combination of passion and ignorance. Ignorance because they don't know what they're getting into. Again, this is education, that the young men and women are sent to the educational institution to become prostitutes and prostitute hunters. In the name of education, they mix like mad. And they don't know at what risk also, what disease, what pregnancy. That also, the girl becomes, the man says some loving words, the girl becomes pregnant. The man says, oh no, the girl says, oh no. The university health department says, no problem. And they kill the child. Again, without knowledge of what they're doing or what the consequences will be. So this is, again, Prabhupada translates it as nonsense. Foolishness, nonsense, ignorance. All of these things develop. Pramada moho tamaso. In the mode of ignorance, we get madness, we get illusion, we get ignorance. And in the mode of passion, intense greed. A person in the mode of passion wants more and more. Now, in the modern civilization, society is considered advanced in the mode of passion. If a man is working hard and always thinking about how to increase his capital, then he's considered a very smart man. And of course the other side is, one side making money and then the other side spending money. How to increase my opulence, bigger house, bigger car, better car, more jewelry for my wife, more this, more that, bigger television set, still bigger television set. So many things for happiness. Gotta have this, gotta have that. Can't live without this, have to have that. What's life without this? Gotta try that. Gotta eat this. Gotta join that. Loba, greed. His actual needs are minimal. What do we need to live? Little food, little place to stay. How much do we really need? But the human society, in the mode of passion, dedicates itself to increasing artificially its supposed needs. You can't brush your teeth with a twig or a toothbrush, you have to have something electric. Otherwise, something's going to be wrong, you're missing something. Everything increasingly complicated, and the result is radasas tu palam dukkha. The result of passion is what? Misery. Radasas tu palam dukkha. The result of passion is suffering. The idea of passion is to increase my enjoyment, to get more, to enjoy more. But the actual result is that I increase my suffering. Kandu yanena karayori dukkha. Sex is the symbol of passion. Prahlad Maharaj compares it to scratching an itch. The itch is there, and we scratch, and it becomes itchier, and we scratch more, it becomes still itchier. Kandu yanena karayor, even dukkha dukkha. So the scratching just makes things more troublesome, more miserable. The person who's actually educated is taught to become dhira, sober. Sober means dhirastatra namuyati, undisturbed. He's not blown around by every idea, every desire, every impulse. That's for the animals. If there's an impulse, their immediate business is how to gratify that impulse. But the human being is meant to become dhira. Dhira means unaffected, undisturbed, sober. Dhirastatra namuyati. So for that one has to come to the mode of goodness. In the mode of goodness, one is peaceful, one is tolerant, one has knowledge, one knows what is what, one can discriminate. So real human advancement is in the mode of goodness. But people don't know what goodness is. They think that they're advancing by nightclubs and brothels and so many things. Or just ordinary material arrangements for increasing our happiness in the mode of passion. Therefore, the training in Krishna consciousness is required so that people will be uplifted to the higher stages. Of course, by some material training, one may be uplifted gradually from ignorance to passion, from passion to goodness. But the quickest means of elevating people to a higher status of life is by the direct method of Krishna consciousness. By Krishna consciousness, one is meant to come to the transcendental platform. And on that transcendental platform, automatically, sagunam samatityayitam bhavibhuyaya pratita. One is transcending the three modes of nature. Or even those who may not take to Krishna consciousness perfectly, but just if they get some idea of Krishna consciousness, they may gradually be uplifted from ignorance to passion, from passion to goodness. If we simply aim at raising people from ignorance to passion, passion to goodness, it will be slow. If we aim at making people Krishna conscious, then it will be quicker. Prabhupada gave the example, in some professor of his used to say that if you try for a B, you'll get a C. And if you try for an A, then you may get an A or you may get a B. So if we try to make people Krishna conscious, even if they don't become fully Krishna conscious, they may at least come to the higher stages of the modes of material nature. Otherwise, just trying to elevate people materially will be a very slow affair. So, the Krishna consciousness movement is necessary. The government, even Prabhupada used to talk about this, from the practical point of view, the government is spending so much money trying to prevent crime, trying to prevent juvenile delinquency, trying to get kids off drugs, trying to spread knowledge about how to check HIV, trying to spread this, trying to solve this problem. Now, how much money are they spending? How much money are they spending for these various, trying to help people get people off alcohol, trying to help people who are chronic gamblers, trying to help people who are this, that, or the other thing. Huge amounts of money. And the programs are not generally very effective. So Prabhupada used to encourage that the government should support this simple program, that people should chant the holy names of God, hear something about spiritual realization, and take some refreshments, Krishna Prasada, and they'll be elevated. We have practical experience of that in our Krishna consciousness movement. So many of the members, especially from the Western countries, were addicted to all sorts of habits associated with the modes of passion and ignorance. But by becoming Krishna conscious, they automatically become good. They give up intoxicants, they give up gambling, they give up meat eating, they give up illicit sex. And that means coming to the mode of goodness. That means, and even the greatest, even the big materialists can't come to that stage. Your political leaders wind up spending $5,000 an hour on some prostitute. Why? Because they're not reformed in terms of the qualities of material nature. They go on in all nasty activities, ugra karma, because their hearts are not purified. In spite of so much education, in spite of being big men, in spite of inventing so many things, in spite of belonging to a great nation, in spite of this, in spite of that, they have no clear idea of the purpose of life, and they're captured by passion and ignorance, which means kamalobhadayastru, increasing their desires, increasing their foolishness. So by Krishna consciousness, nashta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavati. Bhagavati uttama shloke bhakti bhakti nashti. Tada rajastamo bhava kamaloka lobhadyas priye. Jayadvaita stitam sattve prasidati. Evam prasannam manaso bhagavat bhakti yogata. Bhagavat tattva vijnanam amukta samvas vijayate. By the rendering service to the pure devotee, by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, one practically gets freed from all the unwanted things in the heart. One gets freed from the lower modes of nature, passion, and ignorance, and he comes to the platform of goodness. Vitam sattve prasidati. He becomes happy. Evam prasanna manasa. He becomes happy-minded. In the mode of ignorance, there's no happiness. There's just foolishness. Whatever happiness, we see the bums singing in the gutter. That's their happiness. No. There's no happiness in the passion and ignorance. There's only illusion and the feeding of desires so that they become greater and greater. Prabhupada gave the example of some man, his wife had a fever and his maidservant had a fever. So he called the doctor, and the doctor said, "Sir, I've examined both ladies. Your wife has a little fever, not very problematic, little rest, she'll be all right. But your maidservant has quite a high fever, she'll need proper medicine, proper treatment." So the wife was at the top of the stairs hearing. She said, "I want to recount. I'm the wife and she's only the maidservant, and she has a higher fever than me." So this is the materialistic civilization. They think that the more they become feverish in the mode of passion, the more they're becoming advanced. And they don't understand that the more feverish they become, the more foolish they become, and the more they have to suffer. So this education in Krishna consciousness, this transformation of character, is very much essential for the successful life of the human being. Otherwise, the so-called human beings become, as Prabhupada mentions, irresponsible. They become irresponsible. Why? Because life is for sense gratification. So whatever fits my sense gratification, I do it. And I use this girl, I do this, I do that. Whatever suits my sense gratification, then toss it. Irresponsible. Not taking responsibility, simply interested in grabbing and enjoying. Not sober, not dutiful, no clear idea of prescribed duties, pravrittim cha, nivrittim cha. Don't know what to do, what not to do. So this Krishna consciousness has proven effective for not simply training people to become employees, but training people to become pure in heart so that they can be happy in life. What's the use of just increasing material desires and increasing material suffering and illusion? That's not good for the state, it's not good for the individual, it's not good for anyone. But becoming happy-minded by knowledge and self-purification will be good for the individual, for the family, for the whole state, for the whole world. And the Krishna consciousness method will be the most effective means for bringing people to that platform, and beyond that platform, to the transcendence by which their life becomes successful. Bhagavat Tattva Vijnana Mukta Sangasyajate. By becoming Krishna conscious, they can understand Bhagavat Tattva, the actual nature of the personality of Godhead, and Mukta Sangasyajate. They can attain liberation from birth and death and be engaged in the eternal service of Krishna. All right, some questions? Yes?
There's a statement in the purport how the people in the mode of passion, they're mentally unhappy and their profession and occupation are also very troublesome. You know, most of the devotees in our community here are neither brahmacharis nor sannyasis and engaged in some occupation or profession or business. But I believe most would say that it also seems troublesome to them to have to do that. So can they expect that as they make advancement, then that occupation becomes less troublesome and they're transcendental, or what hope can?
Well, the occupation may be as troublesome, but they may be less troubled by it. The occupation is still botheration, trouble, pain in the neck, as they say. But the more one becomes Krishna conscious, the more he becomes tolerant, the less he's affected. This is simply the material nature going on. And my business is to think of Krishna. Well, in that way he may become unaffected. Because his real business is Krishna. Materialist, his real business is his business.
Right. Yes.
But the devotee, his real business is Krishna. And then he's not as affected. Also, the more he becomes advanced in Krishna consciousness, the more he becomes inclined to reduce his material needs. And reducing material needs means reducing material expenditures. Reducing material expenditure means you don't have to work so hard. It's practical. Which is easier to do? Cut your expenditures or increase your income? Generally, increasing one's income is more difficult. First of all, you increase your income, you increase your taxes. Not that the income is immediately in your pocket. You increase your income, you increase your taxes. And the income has a way of, as it increases, finding new ways to spend itself. There are particularly some family members who develop an expertise in expanding the expenditure to match the income. That's the nature of women. They expand. But if a woman becomes Krishna conscious, man becomes Krishna conscious, then their inclination is, what do we need more for? Why do we need more? Will we be happy with more, better, bigger, faster, easier? The inclination is, let us live simply. Living simply means that I don't have to work so hard. My expenditure is less. Then either I don't have to struggle so hard, or I have extra money I can give to Krishna and get transcendental satisfaction from devotional service. And simply living simply itself is more satisfying. These sages who live very simply in their hermitages are more happy than the kings and princes who are living in great opulence and always worried about defending their positions against usurpers. So there's a happiness, there's a satisfaction that comes from living simply and chanting Hare Krishna. In addition to which, it also encourages detachment. If I'm increasing my expenditure, increasing my possessions, I'm increasing my attachments. Then I'm like the silkworm that's building a cocoon around itself in order to be trapped by the silk merchant. If I reduce my attachments, I'm in a better position. I'm lighter, I'm freer. I don't attract the envy of others, because what is there to envy? What material possessions are there? And also, in the Vedic cultural system, one finds it easier to enter the retired stage of life. Generally, the tendency is, once one enters the family life, to stay in family life forever, trapped. But those who cultivate detachment can enter into the post-family ashram, the vanaprastha ashram, in which one becomes more enlivened spiritually and more free from material encumbrances. That's another advantage of living simply, even in the family life. And of course, one is best equipped to do that if one's been trained from the beginning in brahmachari life. Brahmachari Gurukule Vasananta Guru. There one is trained to control the mind, control the senses, live simply. So that's very good preparation for householder life. Even for those who don't stay as perpetual brahmacharis, the training for householder life by the brahmachari ashram will be helpful. Some other question?
Maharaj, thank you for a nice class. After coming to Krishna consciousness, sometimes we feel that it is, although we are trying to practice the principles of Krishna consciousness, the mind is not getting purified. There are so many anarthas within the heart, and because of that there are repeated fall downs in spiritual life. So it's very disappointing.
So one has to continue. Abhyasa yoga yuktena. Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena chidurti. Arjuna says it's very difficult to control the mind. But Krishna said it's possible by suitable practice and by vairagya, detachment. So one should be advised what the suitable means are for making progress in one's life. And one should practice that in the spirit of detachment. And all right, if there's some difficulty, then we have to tolerate that and continue. The saying is that practice makes perfect. Not that we become so disappointed that we give up, and we're worse. Something else? Okay, should we stop here?
Jai. So, Ms. Jayadvaita Swami Maharaj.
Jai.